I now call this convention to order. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Maddie Anderson. I'm the chair of the Story County Democrats. I'd like to thank our committee members for coming today to this important nominating convention, and I'd like to welcome all the guests who have joined us today. I've been named as the temporary chair of this convention. I'm prepared and willing to be the permanent chair of this convention. As temporary chair, I am automatically nominated as a permanent chair. Are there any other nominations for permanent chair? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of electing me, say aye. Aye. Okay. Any opposed, say nay. Thank you. Next, we need to elect a convention secretary. This person will take the minutes of the convention and sign the nominating paperwork. Are there any nominations for convention secretary? I think I can enter that nomination. I would like to nominate Suzanne Zilber. She's already agreed to do this. And are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, a vote for A. Please say A. A. Or aye. Any nays? Okay, so Suzanne has been elected. Okay, we're here to nominate someone to fill the vacancy in House District 46. The voting members of this convention are the precinct committee persons who reside in House District 46. I'm happy to announce that we have a quorum. Nominations will be taken from the floor and may be made by any registered Democrat who resides in House District 46. Nominating speeches are not allowed. Once nominations are closed, each nominee will be given up to 3 minutes to address the convention. Our secretary will keep the time. After all nominees have addressed the delegation, we will move into balloting. Voting will be done by paper ballot. Each voting member will get official ballots, and I'll hand those out to you as soon as we close the nominations. I hope you all appreciate that we're recycling some unused ballots, which is why they say 2018 State Convention. These are the official ballots for this election. There are no secret ballots in the IDP, so each voting member must sign each ballot or else it will be spoiled and not counted. I'll give you instructions on how to fill out the ballot once I pass those out. I've requested the assistance of our IDP SCC members from our county, Jan Bauer and John Klein, to help with the collecting and the counting and oversight of the ballots. Each voter will write the name of their candidate on their ballot, and when you've written the name of your preferred candidate and signed your ballot, you can hold it up and it will be collected by John. In order to win, a candidate must receive over 50% of the votes cast. If no candidate receives over 50% on a ballot, we will eliminate the candidate who received the fewest votes, and we will ballot again. Does anybody have any questions from the voting members here? Okay, I'm going to open up the nominations. Are there any nominations? Go ahead.
I nominate Ross Wilburn.
Okay, Ross Wilburn has been nominated. We do not need a second. Are there any other nominations?
Hi, my friends, fellow Democrats. I woke up this morning, decided it's a good day to wear blue and to be bold and to get on the path of nominating a Democratic candidate who's passionate.
Okay, your fault. You're doing a nominating speech. I need to just nominate someone.
Please, I'm honored to be able to nominate Jeanette Colton.
Okay, Jeanette Colton has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Tom?
Yeah, I nominate Amber Corriere.
Okay, Amber Corriere has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? I'm required to say that 3 times.
I need to know the name of the person who nominated Ross.
Marie McCuskey.
Okay, seeing no other nominations, we will move on to balloting, and I will pass out the ballots. Somebody else could probably. And give me one so I can explain where I want them to put things. I'll wait until everybody has one to tell you how to fill it out. I'll explain how to fill out the ballots, and then we'll have the speeches by the candidates.
Can you spell your last name for me?
Okay, where it says delegate number, I want you to write your precinct number.
I got it. Okay.
Marie, where it says delegate number, I want you to write your precinct number there. Where it says voter name, please print your name clearly. Above where it says please print clearly, that's where you will write the name of the candidate that you vote for. And then just somewhere on there, you need to have your signature as well. And it absolutely needs to be signed or it won't be a valid vote. Okay, so we will go in alphabetical order for the speeches. So we will welcome Jeanette Colton to speak.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I am Jeanette Colton. You know my backstory already. Regarding the issues that the three of us will fight for, there's not a lot of difference. What can I offer? What separates me? I've been a part of Ames for almost 20 years. I built relationships, I built friendships, trust. I built a community. You can reach out to me anytime. I didn't become a citizen with a vote until 5 years ago. But that never stopped me from making a difference. I'm a progressive because I know what it's like to have your voice taken away from you. I know how to campaign in Ames. I ran a campaign across our entire city less than 2 years ago. I knocked over 4,100 doors. I made new contacts. I received new support. I made new friends. I and my campaign never worked so hard, never had so much fun, never shared so many laughs, and some tears too. It showed in the election results. I connect. I've interpreted in the Ames and Gilbert school districts. I interpret now for primary health care. I translate not just words, but emotions, frustrations, fears, happiness. I hear both sides of the story. I tell it. I bring new voices into our party now, not only for this election, but all the following ones. I knocked your doors yesterday. You received emails or calls from supporters of mine in your precincts. You've received emails of support from groups who have reached out to me to contribute. I have the judgment, the instinct, the support. With the outreach of so many, this district will have a loud voice that makes an immediate change. Be bold, be progressive. Nominate me to be your next state representative. That's the difference. That's what I can offer our party right now. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Jeanette. Next we'll have Amber Corriere.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amber Corriere, and I'm running to be your nominee for House District 46. Growing up in central Iowa, I was fortunate to spend a lot of time with my grandmother, and she really inspired in me the importance of helping others. And I've tried to model that way, tried to use my skills and my passion to make a difference in the community. It's really what drives most of the decisions that I make. It's why I have the job that I do, why I ran for city council, and why I'm running for this seat. I'm running because I see the harm that Medicaid privatization has caused for the families and individuals that we serve at Mainstream Living. I'm running because our education system is underfunded, our teachers are undervalued, and college debt is crippling our students. I'm running because basic needs like affordable housing and childcare are out of reach for so many Ames families and those across the state. I'm running because climate change does not get nearly the attention that it deserves. And I'm running to help put an end to the attacks on women and our LGBTQ community. Now, I'm under no illusion that this next legislative season is going to be easy, but I've never been one to shy away from a challenge. If you've followed my work on city council, you know that I'm never afraid to stand up and fight for something when I believe that it is the right thing to do. And I'm ready to take that fight to Des Moines, ready to work with Democrats to send the message that we are here for working families. We can't just talk about ending Medicaid privatization. We must work now for solutions that prevent the conflicts between people and profits. We have to address the direct care workforce shortage in our state so that we can actually have a sustainable mental health and disability system. We must adequately fund our education system, reduce classroom sizes, and freeze tuition at our state universities. We should be working with our local housing trust funds to move the needle on the most pressing housing needs that we have in this state: rental affordability and rehabilitation for low-income single families who own their homes. We must lead as Democrats with a bold climate plan, one that works with our farmers to keep carbon in the soil, one that works with our cities and counties, not against them. We should be providing them with technical resource and grant funding to increase bicycle and pedestrian facilities. There is a lot of work to be done. I didn't even cover the entire list, but I'm up for the challenge. I have the experience, and I know how to lead with heart, something I think that we can all agree we need a little more of in our government. I love Ames, I know Ames, and I've been honored to serve all of you in the community for many years in a variety of ways, and it would be my great honor to continue to serve you at the State House. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Now we'll hear from Ross Wilburn.
Good morning, Democrats.
Good morning.
Good morning, Democrats.
Good morning.
Great, we are all Democrats. So my name is Ross Wilburn. My preferred pronouns are he, him, and his. As we come here to the end of Pride Month, it's important to recognize that our civil rights have been under attack by number 45 and reinforced by inaction and buying into his message of hate by Republican leadership in the governor's office and the legislature. I'm very proud of the work that I did with community, not just me, but with community, with 16 years of public service, 12 as a local elected official, and a couple as mayor. I did things to help support the environment. I signed the 2007 U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement and began a 10-year effort to reduce the carbon footprint of Iowa City, where I lived. I have over 15 years as a mental health service provider, and while I'm not a practicing social worker anymore, I continue with education. One of the things that we need to keep in mind, we need to be proud of the work that Lisa Heddens did in terms of mental health here in this community, and we're fortunate that she's going to continue as a county supervisor. And it's important that we have a comprehensive mental health care system for prevention, treatment, intervention. I began my career working with young men with intellectual challenges. I lived in a house and supervised them, their daily living challenges and successes. And I was very, very proud of that work, but it was a community, entire community, that helped support their learning and the work that they were doing. That led me to trying to get involved to help young and work with young people. And as a former crisis intervention worker, there were nights we got to do prevention and intervention, but there were some nights staffing the 24-hour crisis line where people would call in suicide, depression instances, and to be on the phone with them to support that. I'm familiar with the area of mental health care and the important work there. But my training as a social worker showed me that there are times when that one-to-one attention is not enough. There are systemic practices that are creating barriers for us. We can continue as we are with lack of support in mental health and health areas, or we can take that proactive approach. We can continue with suicide, depression, and the foils of inattention, or we can put that type of system in place where we are not relying on our criminal justice system and we are tapping into untapped potential. Even back in the 1990s, I was actually doing things to support folks here in Ames. I was a youth worker and I actually did training for Youth and Shelter Services staff here with the former director, George Belitzos. We would go to Washington, D.C. to lobby for passage of the Runaway and Homeless Youth Act and get funding for that. And now those funds continue to support the effort against homelessness here in town. There are a lot of different issues: mental health care, the environment. It's just overwhelming, the work that we have to do. But we have to come together as Democrats. I did it. You did it. We do it. We march in the parades. We go to the soup suppers. I just got a card today from Eric Giddens. It was a special election there. We went in droves to support his campaign. Whoever wins, we need to work in droves to support them, because this is the beginning of the battleground to take back the Iowa House and legislature. It begins right here, right now. I ask you for the honor of working together and representing you in the 46th district. Let's do this, Ames. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. Now, you all have the good responsibility, which I don't envy you. We have some great candidates, of voting. Does anybody need further instructions on your ballot? Did you understand how I said to fill it out? Okay. Go ahead and begin voting then. Did you have a question?
What is the yes, no all about?
Just ignore that. We're recycling ballots from a previous event, so. Okay, I'll just remind you, on delegate number, write your precinct number there. Where it says, please print clearly, write who you want to vote for there. Where it says voter name, print your name. And then just sign your name anywhere on the ballot. That's fine. And John, when you collect those, could you make sure that people have written it correctly? I'll fill out a sample one so we can see what it should look like.
We need a signature in addition to our name.
Correct. Okay, there were 19 people who were eligible to be seated as delegates, and we seated 16 of the precinct chairs, and then one alternate was seated. So we're going to begin the counting, and each of the candidates may go over to the counting table to observe. I ask that others do not stand over there. The candidates, would you like to go over there and observe the counting? Submitted.
Every couple of bucks helps. This is I'm the masked man. Don't go away.
Now is also a great time to announce that we will be having the first canvass and campaign launch on August 6th at noon. I'm sorry, July 6th. July 6th at noon at our office at 415 Main Street. We need people to come out and knock on doors, so come on out and do a shift. And then on July 13th, which is a Saturday, at Moore Park at the Big Blue Stem Shelter, we will be doing a fundraiser for our candidate, and Eric Swalwell will be there hosting that event. So hope that you all come out. We are going to start at 3 o'clock. If another candidate were to announce that they were going to come help us, we may start earlier, but at this point, we're 3 o'clock. Look at our website, storydems.org. I'll update it if we need to. Okay, the voting tally has been concluded. There was not a majority winner, so we will go on to a second round of balloting. The ones that you'll be voting on now are Amber Corriere and Ross Wilburn. And thank you, Jeanette, for running. I would like to let you know that there were a couple ballots where people wrote the wrong precinct number. So I'm going to read your name and tell you your precinct number, and remember it so that you get it correct this time. Joy Williams, 2-1. Jim Popkin, 2-1. Doug Finnemore, 2-2. Kathy Scott, 2-2. Jim Schreitmuller, 2-3. Brian Tiffany, 2-3. Maura McKay, 2-4. Sage Stratton, 2-4. Stanley Podolsky, 2-5. Marie McCuskey, 2-5. Rachel Junk, 4-1. Nicole Whitlock, 4-3. Serena Paulson, 4-4. Sid Barfoot, 4-5. Olivia Madison, 4-5. And for the alternates, the only seated alternate is Marianne Lundy, 4-4. Okay, we'll hand out the ballots.
Before we proceed, could you tell us where do you sign? You have to write your name in block letters, and do you sign right under it?
Yeah, that's fine, just wherever, just as long as it's signed. It doesn't really need to be in a certain spot. Just make sure that you're writing the candidate's name on the line where it says, please print clearly. And under voter name, there your name, and then sign it wherever. And I would like to have your precinct number written where it says delegate number. If you need me to read your delegate precinct number again, just let me know. Raise your hand if you're finished with your ballot. Does anybody still have a ballot to turn in? Okay, we'll now proceed with the tallying of the vote, and candidates, you may go over there and observe again.
It's been done, is that you dropped off. It's the same thing as us.
All right, 2-1. Joy Williams and Corriere. 2-5. Dennis.
Our balloting has successfully produced a winner. Congratulations to our nominee and the next state representative from House District 46, Ross Wilburn. Jeanette and Amber, thank you again for running. I look forward to seeing you run for future races. A few words first, Ross?
Thank you, Story County. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to represent us together. And Amber and Jeanette, thank you for stepping forward. Continue the good work that you're doing on City Council and with the city. You know, I'm a Democrat because I believe in the importance of individual responsibility, but we are so much better off when we work collectively together. We are no better off as a society, as a city, than the least fortunate among us. And so we've got to continue. This is just the beginning. We're going to work all the way through August 6th. We're going to take back this House, keep this House seat. We're going to take back the House. I'm going to need all the help I can get, and we can do this together. All the successes I've had, it hasn't been because of me working alone. My father was a United Auto worker and a professional boxer. My mother was a mental health care worker. She was also a physical therapy aide, and they taught me that when you see something wrong, you jump in and do something about it. I unfortunately lost my mother in 1985 when I was 20 years old to cancer. She was bedridden for 2 years, and she after the first 3 months, she couldn't even sit up. And I thought about offering to her, I was a college student then, I was going to let her know I was going to drop out of school. Actually, I said take some time off to help her out the house. Now, she hadn't sat up unassisted for 3 months. And she sat up, and she said, boy, if you drop out of school, I will stick my foot up your behind and we'll walk three-legged back to Iowa City. She valued education, and she put that in me. That's why it's important to have public dollars for public education. We've got to restore collective bargaining rights. We've got to create climate change resiliency in the state. We have to stop being reactive and being proactive for us, for the next generation. That's enough of a speech. It's a Saturday morning. It's only going to get hotter, but I do have to say I'm going to need help knocking doors, raising money. There are two walkaways today. Sign up to show our first canvas will be this time next Saturday, July 6th, so 10 o'clock next Saturday, July 6th, at the Story County Democrats office on Main Street, and contribute to the cause. I showed you the card that Eric had sent me. I contributed, you had contributed, give what you can, but the Story County Democrats are hosting the first fundraiser for me, Saturday, July 13th at 3 p.m. at Big Blue STEM Shelter at Moore Memorial Park. My goal is to raise $20,000 for this campaign, and we can get there with your help. I can't remember, I think we were in conversation, Republicans, they can get there with 1 or 2 donors. We do it $5, $10, $15, $20 at a time, and we're going to do this. I hope you'll consider $100, $50, but whatever you can give. And don't worry, we'll have packets at the fundraisers for you to knock doors. So thanks again for your time, your work for the party. I know this is a little out of the ordinary for convention, but it's the work that has to be done. We're going to do this together. Thank you.